Welcome back. Well, today I have a United update with Elsie Addington. Well, Elsie, thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah, well, I just don't have anything else to do in the mornings except talk to you, which is a nice thing.
No, we know how much you like to be on TV.
Oh, yeah, right. As you can tell, I've spent hours on my makeup.
You're so funny.
Well, it just doesn't do any good, so why waste the resources?
Oh, stop. Oh, stop. Well, you've got some information about Manor Alterations.
I do, Lisa. I'm here today on behalf of the United Board's Architectural and Control Standards Committee Chairman, Brian Gilmore. Only, well, never mind. I was going to make some wise remark about Brian Gilmore and me, but I won't. Brian had a scheduling mismatch and asked me to pass along an update on the busy world of Manor Alterations. The committee and the staff of Manor Alterations have been really busy as usual and are making great progress after the double down bad luck of the pandemic and then the October malware attack. Alterations was hit really bad by that.
Yeah.
Brian wanted to announce the following 4 items. Are you ready, Lisa?
Oh, ready.
Okay. First, the Manor Alterations bi-weekly news bulletin. I'm sure that's first on everybody's list. It's soon to be posting its 4th edition because March 15th, March 31st, and April 15th have already been issued. And the newsletter has 3 sections: contractors, realtors, and members. Interested residents should read all 3 sections. It will help you to learn the requirements of alterations before you get into the project, as well as current updates for procedures. The Alterations Committee, and it's got links and everything. It's just a wonderful newsletter.
It's great.
The Alterations Committee saw the need for it. Manor Alterations personnel put it together, and the VMS Media and Communication Department published it. Both to residents' emails and to the Laguna Woods Village website. A great job was done. It was a collaborative effort, and it was done pretty quickly and done very well. So I think, I heartily involved folks. A great job was done by all involved, and the newsletter can be located on the website as follows. First of all, we go to residents on the website and hover there, and then click on Manor Alterations. Then scroll to the bottom of the 2nd column of orange banners and click. The current and past issues are available there.
Got it.
So if anybody wants to write that down, I mean, if you're interested, it's really a good resource to find out when the changes are made, if rules change. That's one of the complaints we get is we didn't know the rules changed, and you're right, we get it, and we do tend to change rules periodically. So this is a good place to learn about rule changes.
Okay.
So my second thing is the permitless alteration process. And this is the one where it's like for like, and no cutting into walls, no cutting into floors, no disturbing the ceiling. Okay, this is just the permitless alteration process. We estimate that about 35 people have taken advantage of this probationary program, and that represents a proportional workload reduction in the Manor Alterations office of about 30% for this type of request. So in other words, if we went through the old process and now compare it to this new permitless process, for those qualifying alterations, the workload is for that, just for those alterations is down about 30%, which is awesome.
Yeah,
isn't it? I don't mean it's 35% for the whole unit for everything they do, but for this portion of their workload. So far it's been very successful.
Great.
This is a trial program. So if you see any needed adjustments, please let us know. Also, if you like it, please let us know. You may contact alterations at vmsinc.org. That's alterations@vmsinc.org. That was exciting, yeah?
Yeah, well, let me ask you a question regarding that. So for instance, those people who took advantage of that, they basically didn't need a permit. So they were able to do, like you said, a like for like. So what has the outcome been? So, I mean, obviously, is there an end approval process? So once they've made that alteration, you send someone out to make sure it's exactly what they said it was going to be?
Actually, no. I know nobody would ever want to cheat on something like this, but when it comes time to sell your manor, the truth will out. In other words, if any illegal alterations were made, in order to do this permitless process, you have to send in before and after pictures.
Oh,
So you take a picture of your old washing machine, or no, not washing machine, that's a bad example, your old dishwasher, and then put in your new dishwasher and take a picture of it and send it with the completed form, and that's all you do.
I see.
And then if there are, I can't think of a ready example, but in this like for like exchange business, our caveat, of course, is if there's a city permit that's necessary, that's on the, that's because we don't do codes here in the village. We just go by our mutual directives. So
Gotcha.
if there are any city permits required, that's on, but I can't think of a good example, and that's on the if there are in fact any, because like for like is like for like, right?
Right.
So we're just eliminating that first step of the process. So hopefully as the word spreads, more and more people will try. And for information, again, they can go to the alterations@vmsinc.org, or they can call resident services, or they can call the alterations desk.
Okay, perfect.
I'm glad you like that. I like that. That was
Good.
That
It's all
was a
good.
little success. Yeah, it's for 6 months, so we're hoping if everything goes well, we'll make it permanent.
Yeah, well, as long as everybody sends in their before and after pictures and it all gels, then it shouldn't be a problem, right?
Shouldn't be.
Okay.
So far, so good. We'll see.
Yay. All right, good. Is that all you've got for us?
Well, no, I've got a couple of quickies. Third, asbestos is in our buildings and virtually all older buildings, as everyone should know, and not just in California. Okay, it's all over the country. And millions of people still die globally from exposure to asbestos, from either complications of asbestosis or from mesothelioma. I don't pronounce that right, and I'm very sorry. I just lost a pretty good friend to that here in the village.
Oh, wow.
So it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Granted, it's long term, but it's serious.
Okay.
So anyway, the alterations committee, maintenance and VMS's maintenance and construction, mutual presidents, and VMS representatives will be meeting with the local regulatory district to learn more details on how asbestos should be managed during renovation. There's a lot of controversy. A lot of people, most of them from out of state, frankly, think that we shouldn't have to be as careful with the asbestos process as we are. Mm-hmm. And everybody's entitled to their opinion for sure. So they're going to have this big meeting and go to the horse's mouth, as it were, because AQMD and OSHA are the two main drivers. That's federal and also Cal OSHA. So federal and state, which of course trumps mutual rules all the time, right? We could say everybody can just do whatever they want. They can eat asbestos on their cereal if they want, but the federal and state law would supersede that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So meanwhile, residents should be very careful not to cut into walls, ceiling, and flooring, which will release friable asbestos. Are you familiar with that term, Lisa? Mm-hmm. Friable. It just means it's you can breathe it in, basically. So as long as it's encapsulated or quiet, it's minding its own little business in our wallboards and on our ceilings, wherever, it's fine. Mm-hmm. But when you agitate it, it becomes friable. I like that term. Mm-hmm. And that can be very dangerous if it's not handled appropriately. So if there's any suspicion, you need to talk to professional companies.
Okay.
Anyway, and finally, this is the last thing. Please recall that there was a 6-month moratorium on variance requests in United Mutual, which the moratorium began on April the 9th. The moratorium was called to help Manor Alterations get caught up without adding additional staff and therefore increasing our monthly assessments. Please be patient and consider during this time to carefully design your alteration preferences and conduct due diligence in finding a contractor. Because those are really the two big problems. People say, oh, I want to do this. And it's really not practical. And then they change their minds about 4 or 5 times or even twice. And it really extends the process. So if you know just what you want and you have a good contractor, when the moratorium's over, it should move right along. And that's about it, Lisa.
All right. Well, that was a great review. Thank you so much for the update.
Thank you so much for having me, as usual.
All right. We'll be right back after this.